All right, we are going to go ahead and get started here in the interest of time. So if you have not already, please make sure that you sign in so that you get training credit. Zoom people, I have all of you guys on the list, so you guys are good. Thank you guys for coming. We have such a great turnout. This is awesome. This guy. So, so today, Greg and I are going to be talking to you guys about what we call a roadmap back from COVID. So I just want to see a show of hands in here who actually worked here before COVID hit. So we have a few. We have a few that know, but a lot of you guys don't know what it's like to not have the COVID restrictions that go on in this building. One of the biggest ones is that families are not in the building. So the whole purpose of this training is to get you guys ready for families to be back into the building. They eventually will be able to come in at any point in time. So they will have key fobs that they can come in, and they will be able to come in several different doors. So it helps us to be at the top of our game. But having family members in here really is a gift because, you know, they give us an extra set of eyes on the residents, an extra set of hands so that we can do one-on-ones with people, just extra set of eyes in general around the building. So it's really nice. But it also makes us have to be aware of what our surroundings look like. A good analogy that Dan always tends to use is if you got onto an airplane and the flight attendants were a mess, they weren't in uniform, the seats were kind of falling apart, there was trash everywhere, and it just wasn't really put together. Would you trust that flight or that airline to get you safely from point A to point B? No, probably not. And it's the same way with us. So we want families to come in here and look at this place and look how well we take care of it and maintain it and say, I know that they're going to take a good care of my loved one. They're taking care of the surroundings and taking care of my loved one's room and personal belongings. So always keep that in the back of your mind when families are coming in. Another big reminder with families, it may not feel like it, but we are all in customer service. So when families come in here, we have to greet them with a smile, even if we just dealt with a resident who was kicking and screaming the entire time that we were trying to give them a bath. So we have to put on that smile and that customer service to say, how can I help you? What can I do for you when those families are in here? When it comes to actually looking at the community, Greg is going to take us on a little walking tour around this neighborhood itself, and we're going to look at different rooms and areas around this community, around this neighborhood, and look at different ways that we can fix it up to make it look a little bit more presentable for when families come in. And we want you guys to get the eyes to be able to do that kind of stuff at all points in time, because we know residents are going to come in, they're going to mess things up, they're going to move things around, and that's okay. We want them to do that. But it's on all of us to make sure that things get back to where they're supposed to be when a resident is finished with whatever it is. So I will let Greg take over this part.
Do we need the phone on or no?
We will when we start walking.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have your phone?
I do, but the battery's almost dead.
Okay.
First and foremost, thank you all. It's because of you that Kemper House is doing so well in the community at large. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at the Google reviews. There's 25 or 30 on there, and they will put you in tears, the things that families say about Kemper House and our care. So I just want to thank you all. In general, just me going around the neighborhood, just so you know, I come from a different perspective than most people. I've lived with an interior designer most of my life. My wife is a world-class interior designer specializing in senior living and especially in Alzheimer and dementia care. If you don't know this, she designed all the interiors of this building. And so when I see furniture out of place or knickknacks missing, and it hurts my heart, it's just because that's what I was born of. And so just know what we're going to do is we're going to sort of round the neighborhood, and I'm just going to show you the things that I see. And I'm hopeful that as we start ramping up to let families in, that maybe before you leave a room, you just take a glance back and make sure that the room looks like a room that you would be proud to show a friend or a family member. And so that's sort of what my portion of this is about, is just really right lining our thinking about what the space looks like. Chelsea had a good example with the airplane. I always use the restroom at a restaurant. I don't know if y'all have a favorite restaurant, but there's times when you go in certain restaurants and then you go to use their restroom and they're totally trashed, and it makes you think about, how is my food being prepared? What does that kitchen look like? If they can't keep this bathroom clean, how are they caring for my food? And so it's the same with families coming into this community. This community has a language of its own, and it speaks to our families, it speaks to our residents, and it can have a positive message or it can have a negative message. And the more organized we keep it, and the better the message is. And so we just wanted to go around. We're going to cascade through the space, and I'm just going to show you what sort of my eye sees when I'm in these spaces. And not everybody is going to be good at looking and seeing through things and seeing the details of it, but there might be a few of you that sort of have that talent, and maybe we can lean on each other to just say, hey, take a look at this room. What do you think? Should we straighten it up? Is it fine? And we want to think about not only common area space, but also resident space, resident bathrooms. And before we leave that room, if a family member came walking in right after I left that room, would I feel okay to say, hey, that room's well put together? So that's what we're going to do today. And I think we can probably all get up, and I'll actually start in here. So you're firing up your phone?
Yep. So let me.
And that's recording, right?
Yep. I'm going to turn that
So we have a
down.
recorded version of this so that anybody can go back and watch it, or we can push it to anybody. I'll carry that people can't hear me on the Zoom. Thank you. And we'll face it out.
There you go,
So
sir.
it's faced out?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch my screen.
Hi there, everybody. Everybody on Zoom land. So in looking at this dining room, it actually is pretty well put together. Some of the things that I notice are, I don't know if you intentionally push up the window shades. That I might be okay with that. The thing that's nice about leaving them down and then just fully opening them is that you can easily close them down at night. So you don't have to push them all the way up in order to get the most sunlight in here. You can actually just twist the shade itself. I sort of like the ambiance of the shade itself being down and then either opened or halfway opened or fully closed, depending on what the mood is set. I do like, if you think about lighting, so lighting for people with dementia is super important, natural lighting and real lighting. So we have different levels of light in here. You think about the pendant lighting, you think about the can lighting, more pendant lighting. I love that. I don't know who's working behind the country kitchen here, but if you notice, all the lights are on above the countertop. The lights are on the back countertop. I love that because the residents can see it, we can see it. It creates a really positive energy. Things are looking pretty doggone organized here. One of the things that is sort of a pet peeve of mine is this plastic bag being on the top versus in a trash can underneath of this, because this looks sloppy to me. We just probably need to provide a better trash can, because I hear that what happens is people throw trash in there and then it falls down to the side. So maybe somehow I can find something that comes a little bit closer to the bottom of that. But that's what my eye catches as I see that looks sloppy. That's not how it was intended, to have a bag around the top. Everything else, probably that red bucket in the corner there, I probably wouldn't have that up on the countertop. I might have that in the back space just because it stands out. It looks institutional. We're trying to avoid looking institutional. To avoid looking institutional, you have to have accessories around, which I know that our residents are going to grab accessories. They're going to take them back to their room. They're going to take them wherever. That's okay, because
Every quarter, we're going to go and we're going to house clean, and we're going to go and grab those accessories and bring them out and re-accessorize. If you see accessories that are broken, no worries, you can pitch them, but at least let us know that, hey, some accessories are missing. And then we will constantly go out, repurchase, and restock our accessories. I would say for the most part, this room looks pretty tight. Obviously, we're sitting in it. The tables are a little bit askew from one another. That doesn't bother me too bad, but I'm sort of an orthogonal type person, meaning I think square and straight lines, and they're a little bit out of shape. One of the things I want you to recognize on tables for safety purposes, if you think about this table, you have a long side to it and a short side to it. This table base is set up properly. If you look, the base that has the short-sided leg to it is on the short side of the table. Sorry. The base that it has the long side to it, it is in line with the long side of the table. I'm getting feedback. And the reason for this is that when residents get up, they tend, like, see, this is loose, and you can see that this needs tightened down. But basically, you get more stability if this table base is tight. So if you see a base that's not tight like this, just let Bob or I know, and we'll tighten that down for you. Sometimes you can just twist the top to tighten it down, but then it's hard to keep the base in line with the right side of the table. Now, you see the square ones, they're all equal. So it's good the way that this is set up, how you have the table base so that it's lined up with these corners is good. Or you can have it that it's lined up with the edges of the table itself or the sides of the table. It could be shifted differently, but this is nice because you can actually push the chair under it. Also, I mean, if you think about like the design of some of the furniture, everything is purposefully designed. This fabric is called Krypton. So it's moisture and waterproof, and then it's easily cleaned with water itself and some detergents every once in a while. So the chair itself, the height of it, having wheels simply on the front of it and not on the back of it makes it easier for residents to be pushed into their seats. So I'm just doing some education on the furniture itself. Just making sure that artwork is aligned. I love having little arts and crafts around the space, but constantly changing that, which I know you do, is important. But those are some of the things that I see. I know that that's temporary, right? So those carts come in and out. Having flowers in the corner, that's fine. For me, it's a little bit tight. So if I was here, I'm just anal about stuff. You actually want to give it more space to breathe. We have a little patch job in the corner there. So I'm just thinking in my mind, if this was my house, how would I like this set up? And just pushing things in corner because you're vacuuming, getting it out of the way, or you're cleaning a counter top or top up here and it gets pushed out askew. Thinking about positioning of things and balancing this out are the things that I'm seeing as I'm walking through the space. All right, so that's enough about this dining room. Let's everybody get up and follow me. Living room. Hey, ho. I'm not going to be able to do a lot in this one because it's packed full. Oh, it looks pretty good though.
The symmetry there.
Yeah.
There's decoration.
I'll hold it. Okay, so this family room is very heavily used right now, which is, I love it. I love that, like, who's ever keeping this room together has done a pretty good job. The furniture setup is originally how we intended it. The spacing of it is a little bit wide, and I understand why, because you've got wheelchairs and residents moving around it. If I were to come in and nobody was in here, I would actually push that furniture just a little bit tighter to the tables and chairs. And then when residents come back in there, you can move it back out. But anytime you leave the space, I would just look at it and go, hey, let's just tighten it up a little bit. Think about if it was your house and you were leaning forward to put a cup of coffee on that table, how would that look? What would that distance be from the chair to that table? Normally, we had these square tables out in the center here with lights plugged into those. I'm okay with them not being there because I know that we do with the wheelchairs around that. But I think it's just being thoughtful. Having a decorative item on the coffee table is important. And I know it's sort of a pain in the butt because it gets in the way, it gets knocked around. But those little details are what make it feel more like home versus an institution. And paying attention to the details of the accessories, the space, the layout of the furniture. Bob and I are going to work on putting something on the back wall so those chairs don't damage the drywall back there, but that's a he and my thing. But for the most part, this actually looks pretty good. The layout of it. It was I had to do a lot of work in Colonial this morning. So thank you. Whoever's keeping these straight is doing a good job. Let's head on. Oh, bathrooms, yes. Yeah, this is a public bathroom. We used to have flowers on this little cabinet here, and for some reason it's not there now, but that's okay. But even that, like, it tends to get, the cabinet itself gets pushed into the corner because people are probably cleaning the floor. I don't mind. I want you to clean the floor, but if you push something out of center or off to the corner just because of cleaning, pull it back in, sort of center it on the wall. Think about it being in your house and having more of a balance within that space. Have you ever heard of feng shui?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about feng shui, it's about balance in space. And so when something's out of skew for me, it totally messes up my feng shui. I've been living in this space for so long. When I see that, I'm like, oh my God, I got to straighten that up or get it in the center. And it's just sort of who I am. And so I would like to implant some of that on all of you to think about feng shui and balance in space when you're looking at it. For the most part, bathroom looks pretty solid.
I do think one tip, I would put the wipes inside this cabinet or whatever you call it. It has a less institutional feel if those are just sitting out, but then they're still accessible.
And I do understand. I mean, I've wiped people's butts, and I know it's good to have a wipe in the back there. But let's say this: you go in, you put it on the back of that, you do your job, and then they leave, and you just put it right back in that cabinet. It just is a little bit nicer feel. Once again, you wouldn't have that on the back of your toilet at your home.
I was gonna say, I know.
Well, yeah, Dan does. No questions. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. What's up?
We never know whether, well, I never know whether to leave the blinds open or closed in the living room. I like them better open. I think it feels better. But a lot of people like them closed because they're napping.
Yeah,
can't see the TV.
For me, it's what's in the moment.
Yeah.
So if you have 5 people in there that want to nap, it depends on what energy you want to create. If you're trying to have an activity with light, airy feel, they should be open. If you really want, it's time to just settle down and watch and chill in front of the TV. It's just like, what would you want in your own home? If you're feeling like you want to just nap a little bit, you're not going to open everything brightly. It's okay. There's no wrong answer. It's just when you're feeling that moment, use your best judgment. So there's no right or wrong to that. Even if you think about our hallways, the design of this building, even the windows that peek into our residence rooms, they're not just a tool for us to be able to see what our residents are doing without having to open their doors at night. It also allows natural light to pour into a hallway. And so and then also it feels a little bit more like home when you have a window over your kitchen sink. So it serves multiple purposes. Shadow boxes. So I don't know if you all are really familiar with the shadow box. The shadow box is a tool for our residents. So our residents, you see our sign, it'll have an image of them and it will have their name and it'll have a number. A lot of times our residents won't recognize their name. They may not even recognize their face because in their mind, they might look younger than they really are. So they might look at that and go, that ain't me. The shadow box, though, is designed to have something that they can relate to, that is just something that is so special to them. And when they see it, they're like, that is mine. That must be my room. And so it just allows them to have more independence. And so we want to invest. And part of the thing that we lost a little bit of when families weren't able to come in. As part of their move-in process was families got to design these with their loved ones. And then it was incumbent on us, once COVID hit, to sort of do it. And we got a little laxed on it. Some are done really well, others aren't. So taking ownership of that, and it can be an activity with residents and now with families. And it's really sort of a special thing. And it's always something that that families sort of cherish when they pass, that they sort of get that, whatever the items are in there as part of their departure.
Let's hit life skill station.
Okay. Once again, so just accessorizing out in the hallways. I think this looks, so one, like for me, like this just being sort of off skew here. And I know this is damage that hurts my heart, but it happens. It's been damaged for a while. Otherwise, this looks pretty good. So honestly, like I would shift that around a little bit just because it makes it look a little bit more decorative. That kind of stuff, that's just me, like the real minute details. But if you think about it, you know, it probably, now you think it looks a little bit better by shifting that around a little bit. Life skill stations. The main purpose for a life skill station is that, let's say Sally is having a rough morning, but you know Sally loves to cook. So you say, hey, Sally, let's go and let's mess around in the kitchen. And you just start banging cabinets around. You start getting the utensils out. You start mixing up some bowls. Even if you want to go get something from the kitchen, literally, and come in here and mix it up and do a little picnic thing here. So it's a very intentional thing that the only way it typically gets used is if our care team members bring the resident to it. I will tell you, I don't know if they're not used a lot in Olentangy, but the life skill stations in Olentangy always stay amazing. I hope it's because they're being used and you're just keeping it organized. Hopefully we continue to use it. Now, I want to let you know, this actual cabinet right here is my grandma Lily's. So she passed away under our roof at 97 with Alzheimer's. And so that unit is almost 100 years old. It's been in our family. Yeah. Same with the laundry area. You know, if you know Adela loves to iron, come over here and get her ironing some of these clothes and just enjoy the life skill station. You'll find that things should be missing out of here because residents should come in and grab stuff. And if you see that they're not looking as well as they should and they're missing parts and pieces, just come to me and just let me know and say, hey, you know, the life skill station and whatever needs some attention. And I have no problem going out and purchasing new stuff or finding the stuff that we need to replace back in it.
Hey, Greg, I noticed there's a line out on this life skill station. What should I do to report that?
Yes, where should that go? Does anybody know?
Where should I go to let them know to fix that? How do I do that? So where?
Curtain wellness station.
Yes, there's a clipboard and a wellness station.
We got a winner.
So if you have a work order of any kind for Bob, you go to the nurse's station, you grab the clipboard, you write it down, and he will get it and fix it. Good answer.
Okay, so now do we have a room? Jean Lombardi's. Okay, follow me. Oh, and I don't know if you know this. So part of our design, when you think about artwork, so this is called 3-point security. So if you grab this, you cannot rip this off the wall. It has a security lock in the bottom and 2 connection point on the top. There's a little device that you can do to turn this and lift this off the wall. This is called nostalgic art. So everything is labeled. This is all images from Worthington over the years. And so these are really good talking points for families. There might be residents in here that recognize this garage. This is actually where, you know where this is? What, do you know what it was? Do you know what it is now? Yeah.
It's a pizza place now.
Is it?
It's not there anymore.
Yeah, so it's a pizza place now?
Yeah, it was this, there was a gas station. And then now it's been
Yeah.
modeled and rebuilt.
Yeah, so Dan's lived here many, many years. And so, but just know it's called nostalgic art. We go to the Historical Society and we buy images from them and then we frame them. They're all throughout. There's probably 80 images that we purchased. We actually met a family that we got probably 50 of them from that just had tons of amazing photographs.
That's where the farmer's market is, right near Graders is where that is. Across the street from it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's near Le Chatelaine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just down from there.
Sorry.
Hey.
Hey, how are you
Nice to meet you.
doing?
Can you say
I
hi?
know
Say,
it's a
"I'm Big
big
Red."
crowd. Hi, Big Red.
Nice
It's
to
nice
meet
to
you.
meet you. I'm Greg Sini.
Who?
Greg Sini. I'm one of the owners. If you ever need anything, just come to me, all right?
That means I won't get it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, Big Red, you got it, brother. Was that Gene? Oh no, Gene's. Yeah, Big Red, I love him. I love his beard. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So once again, same concept. When we're leaving a resident room, just take a glance back at it and go, how's it look? If a family member came walking as I was walking out, would I be like, you got it? I feel good about this. And so you want to look at the details. You want to look at the sink. You want to look at the floors. Your stuff lying around it. Does it look organized? Are the lights, even when you come in, a constant, I don't even, where are the light switches? Oh, just make sure that all the lights are working. If they're not, you put a note in the wellness station to let Bob know that a night light or a light needs replaced. So coming in here, wow, this looks pretty nice, guys. So for me, now what I want to see happen over the course of the next couple of months as families start coming in is I want to see some of our rooms being a little bit more decorated with art on the walls and stuff. That was sort of a byproduct of families not being able to come in and us being minimalists on trying to get resident rooms set up. So I'm a big advocate of hanging stuff on the walls that they connect with. If it's a piece of artwork, if it's a family photo, some of the rooms are a little bit barren only because we've set everything up and the families haven't been able to get in here and do their magic touch to it. But normally what they would do in non-COVID times, they would come in, they'd bring all the artwork, they would sort of set it out, they put a tag on the wall where they wanted their piece of artwork set, and then we would hang that for them. That has not happened for a year because of COVID. So a lot of our rooms, when I walk in, what you want is that resident to walk in and feel immediately connected with that room because it has their favorite cover. It has their favorite piece of art. It has a piece of furniture that they've had in their room for 40 years. And so that connection helps them to settle into our community more quickly. But once again, back into the room. I'm just looking at the bed. I'm looking at the makeup. This bed looks amazing. There's clothes setting out. I don't know who's doing this, but they're doing a great job. I think this is fine. This piece of furniture just sort of floating here is a little bit weird to me. It might be a safety thing. I would actually rather see this piece of furniture turned this way so that it's up against that wall, but it might be that it's a safety thing for Gene to get in and out of bed. If that's the case, then I'm totally good with it.
Yep.
That artwork is crooked. Just saying. Oh yeah, no, and I get that. I'm totally aware of all that. And so how are you doing? I know, I'm doing great. So this one, it's called a dam that goes in the shower, right? That allows so the water doesn't come out onto the floor. These shower, I bought the lowest profile shower in the industry, and they've just been crap, to be quite honest with you. So water just flows right out of them. I'm just so frustrated with them. They cost me extra and they're painful. So Bob has to put a dam in the front of it. This one's actually missing a dam. So we need to let Bob know that he needs to get a dam in here because there's just too much water that spills out and then it makes the floor slippery. I don't know if you all are aware of the light in the door frame itself. So that is light activated. So when the lights on, it should shut off. This one's staying on for whatever reason. I guess the light was off in here, so it takes a little while to react. But the reason why we have a vertical night light in here that's amber in color, you can actually control the light level of it. I don't know if you know that on the inside of the bathroom, if you look up, there's a little light control. So you can turn it off if a resident doesn't sleep well with it, or you can lower the brightness of it. So you can customize that to the resident. The good part about this is most night lights shine on a floor. In a senior, the biggest risk of fall is between bed and back. And so when you get up as a senior, you're disoriented anyways, and you sort of are drawn to the light. So if you have a light shining on the floor, you tend to lean over and go towards it, more prone to falling. With a vertical light, it tends to bring you right to the corner of the bathroom door and keep you more vertical in your steps towards it. So it's one of those things that's just thoughtful. It's a nice addition. So if it's not working right, let us know and we'll get it fixed. The bathroom itself, this is a real organized bathroom. I don't have any complaints here. Yeah, so it looks great. You guys are doing a killer job on these. I appreciate what you all are doing.
What's the reason that they can't get high school? Oh, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah.
That was wrong, sir.
They won't be peeking.
I locked it, but I didn't mess it up. It is as it was.
Okay. The last thing we'll look at, and then I'll get you all out of here, is the spa. So this, just so you know, the spa room should feel like a sanctuary. It should feel like a safe space. When you think about bathing, it's the most vulnerable thing for a resident to be in there naked with somebody else. And how does that feel? So using the right lighting, aromatherapy, music therapy, set the tone so that they are as comfortable as they can possibly be in that vulnerable situation. We have heat lamps above the tub. So I don't, you should be hot. We want them to be warm. That seniors like Adela, she loses 70% of her body heat more than we do, just because she doesn't have the body fat that she used to have. And so you go to grandma's house and it's like 87 degrees, right? That's for good reason, because they lose their body heat. So we need to think about this room it probably will feel stuffy to us, but that's okay, because it will feel good to them. I've been told by the manufacturer of this tub that nobody breaks more doors than Kemper House nationwide. And I said, good, because that means we're using them. So please continue to use it, continue to break doors. No, don't break doors. But if it breaks, we'll fix it. So walking in here, I just want to make sure that it's clean and orderly, that we have the aromatherapy thing. If you're out of the oils for the aromatherapy, let us know. We'll get you some more. If the music device isn't working, let us know. We'll fix it. I mean, we don't, like Dan said earlier, that we don't want something broken in this building. We want you to have all the tools to be your best and take care of our residents the best they can. But this is looking pretty tight. I don't really have much to say. Curtains? What about them?
One's off. Okay.
Oh,
And one.
oh, it's just off.
Yeah, it's off.
Oh, wow, man, she's getting picky. This little thing popped down. So we can just click that back on. Yeah, no, it's good. You're right. I missed that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, like this one's missing a door handle. Just to let you know, I paid a ton of money for these daggum, they call them bat wings, ADA pocket door handles, and they've been just a failure for us. They were super expensive and they just fall off our doors for whatever reason. So this one's missing a door handle. you should just, and maybe we know about it, maybe we don't, but if we don't, just make sure that we do know about it. Because once again, just going through the building, when I see things broken, it's painful for me. So, but outside of that, I think everything is looking pretty tight in here. Any questions? Ryan, you're tall. Can you snap that back on? Haha. Well, we're going to go back to the dining room and we'll just wrap things up and get you out of here. I just want to let you know, in totality, this neighborhood is really looking great. And so you all are doing a really nice job, especially Idella, because she's the best, right?
Okay.
I love you.
Oh, well, good.
Oh, well, good.
Okay.
Come on, go ahead. Kind of look like a door.
We can jump back in the dining room. Thank you. You find yourself a seat wherever you want.
Well, where am I supposed to be?
Oh, where do you want to be? Maybe by Kim. You want to be by Kim? Yeah. All right. Love you. I will mention something about the hoppers.
Oh, yes, yes.
We're going to be adding shelving in there. It's really poorly designed space. It was a little bit too big and it's being underutilized and it's becoming a dump zone, which I understand. If a piece of furniture breaks, it's okay to shove it in to the hopper, but please let us know on that list and then Bob and I will fix it or we'll replace it. If something just needs to get out of the way temporarily, it's okay to put it in that space, but please go back and bring it out if you need to. So we don't want the hopper room to be a dumping place. Eventually, we're going to have shelving in there. It's going to be more organized to allow us to be able to keep supplies in there and then hopefully keep us a little bit more organized. But outside of that, that's all I've got. Oh, this is the list.
If you've never seen it, this is the clipboard for work orders. So you can go to the nurse's station and find it's hanging on the wall. This one's hanging right there by the med cart, but just so you can say it, you've seen it. It's real simple, straightforward. Just go in, write down what's broken, and we'll take care of it.
Perfect.
Yes.
So the last thing that we have to go over, we've talked a lot about the appearance of the community itself. We want to end on the appearance of our residents. So what would you want to, if you were coming in here as a family member, what would you want your mom or your grandma to look like when you came in? If they were all disheveled and out of place, you know, it would make you question things here a little bit more. You know, there are certain things, you know, like people who like to put on 2 pairs of pants or 2 outfits, things like that. We know that stuff happens. That's easily explainable. You know, I'm talking, is their hair done? Do they look the way that they would want to look? You know, is their appearance the way that they would have wanted it to look prior to them having dementia? I always joke with Greg that when he lives here, I'm going to be constantly having to get after his hair because he always wants his hair done and he always has to look nice. And I've promised him that when he moves in, I will guarantee that his hair looks like that at all times. So just make sure that our residents are put together. You know, I think one thing that we've been running into and we kind of talked about this morning is men's grooming. So I think it's kind of fallen a little bit by the wayside with making sure that our men are shaved and taken care of in that way. So we can work together on that and make a process so that every time they get a bath, every time they get a shower, if we know their family's coming in, just run the electric razor over their face so that we can make sure that they're a little bit more trimmed up and neat looking. So always take a look at the residents, make sure that they are put together and comfortable in what they are wearing at all times. Okay.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I notice sometimes on FaceTime calls, families will assume that we're not shaving their residents,
Mhm.
but they refuse.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a big thing, you know, showers, they refuse to take showers, or they refuse to be shaven, or they refuse to change their clothes. Those are easy, those are educational moments there. You know, if it's gonna cause a fight with a resident, if it's going to upset them to force them to take a shower, or force them to shave, force them to change, we're never going to do that. Obviously, there comes a point when those things have to happen, you know, they can't not shower forever. But if we can find a way to make it as pleasant and enjoyable of an experience as possible, that's what we want to do. So those are easy things that we can explain to families. And that's a really good point, because we have a lot of people that are like that may not want to do that kind of stuff.
Think you need to
It's a good
speak
point.
up.
I know, Idella can't hear me. I thought I was using my big voice, but you can't hear me? I'm sorry, Miss Idella. I'll use my projecting voice.
Yeah, like you can't talk loud.
I
Come on.
can't. I know. What questions do you guys have as we went through this, whether it's about the appearance of the community itself, our residents, anything that we went over with you guys? Nothing? Yeah.
One thing I'm a little worried about is, it's not saying we do a bad job at oral hygiene, but I noticed like when I have close encounters with a few of the residents, it's very strong.
Okay.
It could be like medication or dehydration.
Yeah.
But I worry like when the families come, a lot of times when I do like FaceTime, they'll say, oh, her lips are chapped, is she dehydrated?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know, and we don't really have like chapstick we can put on them. I mean,
Okay.
is there anything you to like work on that area?
We'll buy chapstick.
Yeah.
So, no, seriously, like if somebody does struggle with that, just let a nurse know. And I mean,
Or families,
we
ask the
will-
families,
we'll
say-
go out and buy. I
Yeah.
don't, we'll buy it.
Yeah.
You know, it's $1 or $1.50. But I love, you know, just being, once again, you know, God's in the detail, and so is great dementia care. The more attention you pay to the details, the better the care. And so those little things make all the difference. And even if they just see, oh yeah, we have chapstick for mom, you know, that we took care of and we're taking care of them. Yeah, if you think that they have bad breath and maybe their teeth just go talk with the nurse and just say, yeah, there's some bad breath coming out of it. And maybe it's just they have halitosis or whatever, and it happens.
Medication or something.
But also it's good to bring that to just the nurse's attention, and just, it's not, it's the right thing to do. right?
Yeah, and you know,
And
that's a good thing. Sorry, Greg. That's a good thing to notice, because poor oral hygiene can lead to other issues within the mouth. So that's something we all really want to pay attention to. And that's something that you'll notice during meal times too. If they don't seem to be eating as much, there might be an oral hygiene issue. So noticing those things is really important.
And it has direct connection to cognitive decline. Bad oral hygiene has direct connection to cognitive decline. So.
But I think that's just a team effort, you know what I mean? Just making sure that we are working with the residents and working together to make sure that their teeth are getting brushed on a frequent basis so that those issues don't arise.
But all in all, I'm just so grateful for everything you all do. It's really, Kemper House is you all.
Yep.
And so thank you so much. It's amazing the compliments I get from families, and the letters and notes. It's special. So thank you.
All right, everybody, if you guys don't have any questions, you are free to head out. Thank you for coming and participating with us today. Make sure you've signed in up here if you have not already, so you get credit. Thank you, everybody on Zoom.
I know.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
My mouth right now.
Oh, cool. Awesome.